We are recording.
All right, so I'll be good then. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday and end of week 5. We had another active week with bills moving. This week in the committees met on the House and Senate side. On Senate, we had Environment and Natural Resources Committee back on Monday. Some of the bills have moved out of their, well, a lot of the bills have moved out of their first committees. So some committees, regulated industries and APROPs are starting to hear some of our bills. On the House side, Ag and Natural Resources APROP subcommittee met on Monday, and Environment, Agriculture, and Flooding subcommittee met on Tuesday. And again, we have some bills that have moved beyond those first substantive policy committees. Sorry, the bill report was late this morning, but I do have an updated report in your inbox if you haven't seen it yet. And there are, again, I'll go through the bills that have moved this week, and I'll also give you an update on PFAS, which these pair of bills did not move this week, but I have heard that if somebody's asking for the update, just check your email, Bill. I sent a mass email about 10 minutes ago. So there'll be an attachment in there. All right. And I can also share my screen so people can see what I'm talking about. Okay, hang on. Okay. I got the screen out for you, Bill, in case you don't have it yet. All right, so PFAS 1475, 1418, 1151, and 712. So no movement this week, but I was hearing a lot of chatter that Broder, who remember filed 70112, which is the task force bill. It does look like that is getting amended on to that McClure's bill is going to be the bill that all of the PFAS bills are going to get put onto. So what I am hearing is that next week we are likely to see some kind of strike all amendment get filed for 1475 that would have the task force language from 712, and then that would be the bill that the Senate takes up on its next stop, and then you've got your two companions in appropriate form and ready to go, ready to get through their committees and to the floor for final vote. So that deal looks like it's been reached. So we're going to have a combination of 1475 and 712, and as soon as I get an updated version, I'll flip that out. I'm also hearing that's been, greased all the way through the governor's office for approval. Anybody have any questions on PFAS or what that's going to look like? Okay. The next set of bills on here, the private provider, that actually had no movement this week. So let me skip down. So sanitary sewer lateral inspection programs had no movement this week. But down here we had a couple of Everglades actions, and I'm going to talk about the pair that have been in our list for a while, and then I'm going to talk about a new one that popped up this week out of APROPs, which generated some news. I'll get a couple of clips out to y'all if you haven't seen the clips on the controversy. But anyway, first on the comprehensive review study bill. This is 1326 and 513. No activity on the House, but on the Senate side, the comprehensive review study of the CSF project did move through the Community Affairs Committee. Let me go ahead and talk about the other environment, or excuse me, other Everglades issue before I go back into the list. So this This is a new bill, came right out of approps. So, and Albritton was advocating for it. So 2508 entitled Environmental Resources. This is going to, this has got a lot of people's attention. It changes essentially the rules for how South Florida Water Management District meets um, its project obligations under SERP, under the federal wetlands program. And there are some changes that have to do with agriculture and agricultural water supply. And like I said, I'll send the clips out. This bill, when it popped up, apparently, according to the press and the testimony of the South Florida Water Management District Governing Board Chair, this had not been coordinated with South Florida Water Management District. This came out of Albritton, apparently, according to the reporting. Um, I've heard a little bit of chatter from South Florida about this. Y'all probably have seen some articles if you're from down that part of the world. But this did pass through with some bipartisan support, but wasn't unanimous by a long shot. And like I said, there were concerns, including from the South Florida Governing Board chair, to the committee, saying that they've got concerns about this bill and what it would do for Everglades restoration. So it appears to be a little bit of a policy split between what looks like Albritton and the agriculture community from South Florida and the governor's office on this. It's too soon to say whether this is going to be a fight, but it at least generated a lot of news. So 2508, if you're interested in that, and I'll send out a couple of articles, links to articles, and y'all could just Google around and probably see a lot more about that. I don't know a lot of details about where it came from or what the issue is, but all I can say is I've heard Albritton speak a couple times since he was named president-elect of the Senate, and he has apparently, well, in his own words, he's said things about the blaming of Florida agriculture for South Florida water quality problems is going to end, or at least the inappropriate assignment of blame in his view. That agriculture isn't going to be a scapegoat for South Florida water quality issues. So, this could be maybe a shot across the bow at the anti-sugar, anti-agriculture folks down there. But anyway, something to pay attention to, and if you're interested, look into more. Anybody have any comments or questions about that? All right. I'm going to go back up in order then, because I skipped a few bills. So okay, here we are. So development of current or former agriculture land, that started to move last week. It hadn't moved at all. We talked about this before. This is another bill by Albritton that would essentially exempt certain types of contamination if they're related to the normal and customary application of things like pesticides and fertilizer on agriculture. The lawful application of those substances, even if they result in some exceedances of groundwater quality standards, they're not going to trigger a cleanup obligation in a redevelopment scenario. So that's 1210. I'd heard that was a priority of his, and it was, including up to last week. I was saying I don't know why it's not moving yet, but it did move this week. There was a committee substitute, but it's essentially unchanged in terms of what it's trying to accomplish. What else? Wait, it's House Companion, I want to say, yeah, the House Companion is 909, and it it got shuffled around in terms of committee assignments, but it didn't make any progress this week. But I expect it to start moving now that the Senate companion is moving. The inventories of critical wetlands, that's the listing process for acquisition of wetlands, creating an alternative to the ARC Florida Forever process. That moved again on the Senate side, and did not move on the House side. And okay, then the last bill I want to talk about that had some movement this week that's been just kind of stalled for a while is this so-called REEF program. I think they did get rid of the REEF title. So you could see there in HB 101, it's now called Improvements to Real Property. It was previously this Resiliency Energy Environment Florida program, or REEF program. So the program formerly known as REEF is now picking up some momentum again. This would create more qualifying types of activities for upgrades to your home for environmental or energy efficiency, or improvements to your septic tank or connection to sewer. Those types of things would be, you could finance those through your ad valorem property taxes, and that's starting to move. And that's all the interesting things for this week in terms of from my perspective. Does anybody have any questions? Bill, I'm gonna double check and make sure that I got the document out to you. Is anybody still there?
Hey Jeff, this is Katie. I didn't see in my email the document, so maybe either check the distribution or check that it actually sent, if you could.
All right, I will. Maybe stuck in my outbox because I did it right before I was logging into the call.
I've definitely had that happen to me. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything, I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will have I'll have an updated report next week. Certainly some movement on PFAS coming, and more information on this this new Everglades controversy. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.